defined, as I can say, in Brazil, because the cost of the installation is too high. But it's a good solution. I will explain more about it in front. Okay? So, in the beginning, we considered the sugarcane as supplier of two products, energy and biomass and the bioproducts. But nowadays we need to consider that we have to minimize the gas, the greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, so the idea is considered a plant with three focus: energy from biomass, bioproducts from biomass, and our opportunity to reduce the green gas emissions. Okay. For this purpose, in 2015, Brazil signed the cooperation, the agreement with the Paris, copy 22, and we installed the National Policy of Combustíveis, RenovaBio. RenovaBio was created in 2015. Nowadays is working very well. It's all the CBIOs is negotiated on the stock market. Only to have an idea, one CBIO corresponds to one ton of CO2 avoided. We call that mitigation. And this meaning a very significantly reward for the companies. Okay. As I said, it's in full operation. Some data about our RenovaBio program. Last year, since the beginning, was negotiated 115 million CBIOs, avoided 100 million tons of CO2. The CBO prices, typical value, is 17.3 US dollars. Okay. So until now was negotiated around $2 billion and CBIOs. Considering only 23 last year, 35 million of CBIOs were issued in the stock market. The average price last year was very good, with $23 per each CBIO, what means around 800 million US dollars in CBIOs. We have nowadays in Brazil 325 plants certified to issue the CBIO. 4 biomethane plants, 38 biodiesel plants, and 283 ethanol production plants. The ethanol production plants in Brazil nowadays, we consider 270 from sugarcane, 60 from sugarcane plus corn, 6 only from corn, and 1 that produce bagasse, that produce ethanol from bagasse and straw. Okay? E2G and E1G and E2G. So, considering all of this, we believe that these 5 drivers should be considered for the new plants. In fact, when we compare what was done in Brazil in the last years and the plants that we are offering to the market nowadays, these 5 items are very synchronized and very accomplished with this reality. I will talk very briefly about each one of them. Equipment capacity, for instance, in the extraction and reception area. This is a huge tandem that we supplied for a mill in the US with capacity of 32,000 tons per day, 6.48 million tons per season, until now is the biggest unit that the DEDINI supply, and one of the biggest in the world also. This is for bioelectricity production. These two boilers have 320 tons of steam per hour. They work with 100 bar, 530 graus centigrade. That is typical to increase the bioelectricity production. Of course, that this main driver, increase the capacity, productivity, and reduce the capex for ton of cane. This is a distillation column, typical that supplied in Brazil. This capacity, 1,200 liters per day, in the beginning was not typical. Nowadays it's common to supply for 800 to 105,000 liters per day. This is a molecular sieve production to 1 million liters per day. Okay. This is other point that in Brazil is very important, that is the dry cleaning system. Not only to clean the sugar cane, but to separate the straw. So you can use the straw to generate bioelectricity or to other purpose, for instance, like methanization and others. This kind of system eliminates a huge amount of mineral impurities and helps a lot in the sugar quality and the juice quality also. This is other kind of configuration. This is a vacuum column. We are supplying 1 million liters per day only with vacuum column. The molecular sieve dehydration. In Brazil, we need to mix 27% of the dehydrated ethanol with gasoline. It's a mandatory. You don't have gasoline, pure gasoline in Brazil. We have gasohol that has 27%. And the only ethanol that you can mix it with gasoline is the dehydrated ethanol. So that's the reason that first mills that I mentioned that produce only bioethanol has a molecular sieve, has an option to technology option to this. Stillage concentration, this is very typical, to integrate it with the distillation columns. The Brazil is not well accepted to use steam, or high steam or vapor or vegetal steam to concentrate the distillage. You need to integrate it with the distillation column. These are two examples. I will expedite. Synergy integration, I will not spend too much time on that, but this means for that plants that produce ethanol from corn and ethanol from sugarcane. During the crop season of sugarcane, the plant works only with sugarcane, of course. And in the off-season, they use the corn to produce ethanol. But this is a configuration that was replaced by huge plants nowadays. Okay? This is another example that a plant, sugar mill that produces biodiesel, bioethanol, biosugar, all integrated. They have a soybean plantation also, so it's fully integrated. Okay? This is another driver that is the high value product. This is an installation that we are increasing right now. We are supplying the expansion right now that's to produce special yeasts. You add some components, some micronutrients in the fermentation, in the special fermentation, And this kind of yeast is supplied to special markets, to human consumption, to complement some SI for this opportunity. For me, it's a great honor to be here again. As was required, I will try to keep my presentation in 15 minutes. So, my proposal is that if any information or a slide not became very clear, I will be here during all day, tomorrow also. So I'm fully available to discuss, to clarify any questions that you have, okay? DEDINI is a familiar company in Brazil with more than 100 years. In fact, this year we are completing, last year we completed 103 years. The idea today is to give a brief presentation about the evolution of the sugar mills in Brazil. All the basic idea, the design, the concept of this presentation was made by Mr. Oliverio, that participated of this event in 2016 and 2020. Unfortunately, Mr. Oliverio came from this time, so for me it's a great honor to work together with Oliverio for the last 25 years. Nowadays is a senior consultant of DEDINI, okay? So, beginning the presentation, this is a very simplified graph that shows the sugarcane production in Brazil, okay? You can see the red line is the sugarcane, the blue is the sugar production, and the green is the ethanol production. In the beginning, in 1960, we have this production, before the start of National Ethanol Program, ProHalco, okay? With this demand of ethanol in the internal market, our production of ethanol goes to 12 billion liters per year, and the sugarcane production to 620 millions of sugarcane per year. The amount of sugar produced stays on the 5 to 7 million per year. So we call it of the first great leap in Brazilian production. The second one was in 1995, 96, when Brazil starts to export a lot of sugar. So the main driver was the sugar exportation. So as you can see, the sugar production increased to more than 26 millions per year. The amount of sugarcane goes to more than 500, and the ethanol production stays on the level of 300 million per year. Okay? That was the second great leap. The third great leap was due to the innovation, was the introduction of the flexi car in Brazil that happened in the year of 2003. With the flexi car, the demand to ethanol increased very significantly. So that was the point of changing of the ethanol production in Brazil. Okay. Nowadays, as you can see, I think that is better. These are some numbers. Our biggest season was 772 million of sugarcane. The ethanol production 35.6 billion, and sugar production 41.5 million. Okay. This is the typical sugar mill in Brazil before the ethanol program. Okay, it's quite simple. I will not spend too much time to that, but To attend the domestic market, the demand to ethanol, we introduced the ethanol production. The biofuel was the main demand for this kind of configuration. Okay? But what makes the program viable, what makes the program possible, was exactly what the minister said yesterday, a fully dedicated plant to produce ethanol. This configuration started in the 80s in Brazil. The DEDINI sold more than 100 plants like that. You see, is a sugar mill dedicated only to produce bioethanol. Okay? In the beginning, was not very huge. For instance, the first plant dedicated fully to ethanol produced 300,000 liters per day. Nowadays, we don't have any this capacity to supply. Okay, and I will show some slide about that. And when you start to produce only bioethanol, as you know, we have a surplus bagasse, because the ethanol process is less demanding than the sugar process in terms of energy, and you can produce also the bioelectricity. So the idea, and that is the configuration of our plants until today, is to produce sugar, bioethanol, bioelectricity, and the other new products that I will speak in front. Okay? This is a very it was a research that we did in 2012, and after that in 2017, to compare the change of the sugar mills profiles in Brazil. As you can see in the beginning, 60% of our sugars plants produce sugar and ethanol, okay? And only 15% produce bioelectricity. Nowadays, after 2003 until 2017, 65% of the new plants produce only ethanol, and 25% produce sugar and ethanol. Bioelectricity became a reality in Brazil today. So, as you can see, more than 80% of the new plants was designed to produce and to supply bioelectricity to the grid. Okay? The typical mill capacity is, as you can see, I don't know how to point, but it's the last square. As you see, in a plant with 20,000 tons of cane per day. Until 2000, thank you. Until this one. Until no problem. Until 2017 was 12, and after that 15. Okay. This is the typical sugar mill supplied in Brazil, dedicated only to bioethanol production. It's the Água Emendada sugar mill. It's located in Goiás state. As you can see, the sugarcane reception with the dry cane system. This plant in particular uses diffuser, not milling. And two huge boilers, and to produce bioelectricity. 100% of the juice goes to fermentation to produce hydrous ethanol. Okay, that was the first configuration. The stillage in the beginning was to spray on the fields. Nowadays, this kind of plants, some of them are considering to install the sugar plants, the sugar factory, due to the high prices of the sugar in the last years. Okay, so the juice is split to produce sugar and to produce bioethanol. And the dehydration system is considering also as well the stillage concentration. The stillage concentration is not yet minerals, okay? This is the biomethanation. I will not spend too much time on that because you know it very well here in India. This is an example that since since 1986 that we work with that. Sugar production, we have the refineries, but I would like to spend a little more time on that. That's the second generation ethanol production. Hyzen is a joint venture between Cosan and Shell. They are operating the first integrated plant. It's a second generation plant that works together with the sugar mill. The raw material is bagasse and straw. The nominal capacity is 42 million per year. The capex, the first capex announced was $100 million, but now it's different. Okay. So this is the plant in operation. Is located in Costa Pinto sugar mill. As you can see, they are almost in the nominal capacity. Last year they produced 30.3 million of ethanol per year. The idea of the Cosan, the Hafiz, is to have 20 plants like that until the year of 2030. We are supplying equipment for this company. Until now, they have 5 of 8 industrial plants acquired, with the capex announced, with the capacity now is 82 million, and the capex now is 250 million of US dollars. Okay. So sustainability is crucial for the DEDINI. I think that most of you know this figure. Mr. Oliveira presented it on last event. That is the DEDINI Sustainable Mill that is based on 2 concepts and 2 main drivers: optimization and zero discharge. Okay. With that configuration, you can avoid much more greenhouse effects when compared to a traditional mill. In a traditional mill, you can avoid 2.02, 89% of the total greenhouse emission. If you use the DEDINI Sustainable Mill, all the configuration, you can reduce 112 and even 132. That's available when you use the straw, 50% of the straw, and when you produce biodiesel. Almost finished, Rod. Almost finished. These are some technologies that is available to increase the biosugar and the bioethanol production. This is a typical slide that if you want to discuss later, I'm fully available. I will not explain each one of them. Just to mention that we have a partnership with Praj to supply ethanol plants in Brazil. We believe that Praj technology is one of the best in the world. That is the reason that we are together with Praj. We supply 2 plants in Brazil until now, but we believe that we have a great potential for this kind of technology in Brazil. This is I talk about it. This is another point that in Brazil, just it became very, very critical. That is the water utilization. Nowadays, it's mandatory. You reduce the amount of water that you take from the river, from the lakes, from the deep water, whatever. You can't install a new plant nowadays if you don't have a plan to reduce the amount of water, as well the amount of wasted water that will return to the environment. So this kind of technology to reduce the water consumption is really important, and I believe not only to Brazil, but for all the other countries. So this is a summary, was updated last year. It's not an invention. As you can see, in the beginning of the Brazilian production, the ethanol production, we have a crushing capacity of 5,500 tons per day. Nowadays, we can crush 15,000. You see the fermentation yield is 92%. The total steam consumption, we have several plants running with 350, 307 kilograms of steam per ton of sugarcane. And other points, you see, the intake water in the beginning was 260. This was a research that we did last year. Nowadays, if you use the biowater sugar mill, you can release water to the environment. Okay. How to reach that, how to take that, is just to utilize the DEDINI technology. Okay.